So Justin Gaethje just tweeted out that he thinks he's next in line for a title shot at lightweight. I'm going to talk about whether or not I think he deserves it, and I'm also going to give my prediction for the general roadmap of the lightweight division in 2025. So I think the decision for who gets a title shot really comes down to two questions. Number one, do they deserve it? And that really can be answered by their win streak, their ranking, and how that compares to the other people in the top 5. And the second question is, will it sell? And that usually comes down to things like, are they an exciting fighter? Do they go for finishes, or are they just a jab and teep or lay and pray kind of fighter? It also depends on how competitive the fight will be, because people love when dominant champions face a challenger who poses a real threat to their win streak. And it's much less exciting when the challenger isn't nearly as good as a champion and we basically know the result ahead of time. And bonus points if there's a bit of a storyline behind the matchup. And this is why the most exciting title fights are always the ones where it's two guys who are on an impressive win streak, both very dominant, they both go for finishes, and maybe there's a little bit of a storyline or narrative behind it. And it's why the most boring fights are usually the ones that have none of these things. And I think the UFC matchmakers consider all these factors when they're making these fights. So right now, the top 5 lightweights are Arman Tsarukyan, Oliveira, Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Max Holloway. So Arman Tsarukyan was technically the next in line, but because he pulled out of that fight, he never got it. So there's an argument to be made that he still deserves to be the next person to fight Islam. And we know that fight would be very competitive. Arman's obviously very good, and his last fight was relatively competitive as far as fights with Islam go. But Dana has already said that he will not be getting a title shot. I'm skeptical of his back injury because I don't know how he could get injured so close to a fight worth canceling it. Because there's no way that they would be doing any kind of intense training within days of the fight. It's entirely possible that he knew he wasn't going to make weight and he just wanted to save face. Dana probably knows the truth, but we'll just leave it at that. Oliveira is just coming off of a win against Chandler, and honestly, he looked as good as he ever has. I doubt he wants to fight again before getting a title shot, especially at this point in his career. He's probably getting close to retirement, and this will likely be his last shot, so he probably doesn't want to risk losing it. And in the right circumstance, in his current position, he definitely could get a title shot. Like when Michael Chandler first joined the UFC, or Dustin Poirier last June when he got his title shot, the pieces just fell into place. And with Oliveira's current win streak and his record, he most definitely is qualified for a title shot in the right circumstance. But right now, things are certainly more competitive for that spot. He's really in the same boat as Gaethje. When you look at their last wins, there's an argument that Gaethje's win over Fiziev is a little bit more meaningful or impressive than Oliveira's win over Chandler, just because I think that Fiziev is a stronger, more skilled, and just a more dangerous fighter in general than Michael Chandler at this point. If Fiziev was fighting Chandler, I would probably pick him to win. But it's really a toss-up between Gaethje and Oliveira and who deserves the title shot more. I think both of them have probably an equal chance at beating Makhachev, and both of them are equally exciting in terms of their styles and how much the fans like them. The one thing going in Gaethje's favor is that we haven't actually seen him fight Islam, so there's a little more intrigue there. But on the other side, Gaethje just fought and Oliveira is ready to go. So he's probably, as far as his recovery goes, is ready to take a title shot more than Gaethje is. Either way, both guys are probably equally justified in waiting for a title shot. Dustin is just coming off of a loss against Islam, so obviously he's out of the picture. And Max, while he had a outstanding performance against Gaethje, the fact that he just got knocked out by Ilia Topuria at featherweight and Ilia is moving up to lightweight, it doesn't really make sense for Max to get a title shot when someone like Ilia is also in the conversation. And I think what the UFC is going to do about Ilia Topuria is really going to be the deciding factor in who's going to get this lightweight title shot. Topuria has been a finishing machine. He just knocked out 2 of the best featherweights of all time. He's pound for pound number 3. And honestly, there's a good case he could be pound for pound number 2, depending on what you think about a fighter's activity and how that affects where they should be on the pound for pound list. Either way, he and Islam are both at the top of the pound for pound list in neighboring weight classes, which is a rare scenario. So really, when it comes to how competitive this fight will be, this is at like a super fight level. And the fact that one of these guys would actually have to lose in this fight is almost unbelievable. That's how dominant both of them have looked. And for that reason alone, there's a really good case that Ilia should skip the line and get the title shot over Oliveira and Gaethje without needing any other fight at lightweight. He recently tweeted out, "When we announce it, you won't believe it. Get ready," which suggests to me that he might already be booked for a title shot. In which case, Oliveira and Gaethje would have to wait at least 6 months or something to get the title shot, and only one of them would be getting it. So the other guy might be waiting up to a year. But if Ilia is not fighting Gaethje, I almost guarantee you he'll be fighting Oliveira. And this would be kind of the ideal situation if Gaethje is going to get his title shot as soon as possible, because he would be clearly next in line. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. My prediction is that Ilia is getting the title shot, because I just don't think the UFC is stupid enough to miss this opportunity for this massive fight to happen. I think it will probably be one of the highest selling pay-per-views of the year. The only thing that would make it like McGregor status would be if there was a little bit more storyline behind this. That means that Oliveira will most likely have to rematch Arman, because he's been waiting a lot longer since his last fight. Obviously, Gaethje just fought last weekend. And that leaves Gaethje to fight the winner of Ilia and Islam, probably at the end of the year, depending on when the fight between Ilia and Islam actually happens, or it could be sometime early next year as well. So really the one who's getting the worst end of the deal here is Oliveira. So let's just hope that Oliveira gets that win against Arman and gets one more title fight before he retires. If you want to see my fight predictions that I post weekly, you can access them by becoming a channel member. It also supports me, which is very much appreciated. Thanks for watching.